Hello, this is Philip, otherwise known as didnt 23, here for daily Star Wars collecting. This week's topic is basically what do you think about packaging? And as you can see on the screen, I don't have, instead of like showing my collection or something like I usually do, in this one because I don't have very many figures on the card, so actually I really have none, so I just decided to show a picture of my favorite kinds of packaging, and I'll talk more about them in this video. Let's start answering the questions since I have them up on my computer. The first question was, does packaging design matter to you? Personally, to me, it really does matter. I kind of think of it as like the cover of a book. If the packaging catches your attention, then you want to get it, or you look at the figure and stuff like that. So to me, it's pretty big deal about the packaging, especially like if you're a carded collector. And the next question is, do you open your figures or preserve them? Well, my figures, I prefer to open them just because I like the way they look on the card. It just, for some reason, I just can't stand just to have a figure in my room that's just sitting in the card, but I know, I could be getting much more enjoyment out of it, putting it in a diorama or being able to play around with it and stuff like that. So to me, I prefer to have them open. So I don't really have any carded figures right now. And I do plan to get some in the future though. Then the next one was, do you keep your open cards or boxes? Not usually. I kept a card for my rocket firing Boba Fett just because that was kind of a special thing. And I really liked the card in that, but other than that, not really. Especially with the vintage collection cards. Not because, I like the vintage collection cards, not because I don't like them, it's just because, I don't I just don't see the point, especially after I take the UPC off, because then it completely ruins the bottom of the card. And I always take the UPCs off so I can, mail them away for mailaways. Next one was, what do you think of vintage collection packaging, higher cost versus design? Which I think it's worth paying the price because, not really just because of the card back, but more because just the figures are usually very good quality. They're usually very good figures. So personally, I'm willing to pay like the $10 for a good figure. Plus, just because of the way I had to earn money to get figures, it works for me. But Saga Legends figures are like $6.99, so I still need to get work. I get like $5 a week for chore money, so I still have to work 2 weeks either way to get the money. So it doesn't matter which price it is. Either way, I can afford it. It just kind of matters what I can get on the side, but. So basically I had to work the same amount to get either figure, so why not get the better one? Anyway, then the next one was, what do you think of the Ultimate Galactic Hunter foil card and Revenge of the Jedi cards? But with foil cards, I think they're pretty cool. That kind of gives me a reason to try to collect some carded figures, which I haven't really done. And same thing with Revenge of the Jedi cards, it's just, I don't think it's bad, I don't really think it's extremely good. And I think it's just a good way to try to, like, for me at least, the way I see it is, it gives me a reason to finally try to get some carded figures, which I probably should have done in the past. It just, I want to kind of get my collection to more of a point where, there's more figures that I already own out of the packaging before I start getting them also in the packaging. And then, which one do you think modern figures will ever be as valuable as vintage figures just because they're mint on card? Personally, I don't really think so. I just think that vintage figures are worth so much, like sometimes because, they're vintage. It's just they're the original Star Wars figures. Everybody grew up with them. Personally, I just don't think modern toys will ever get as expensive as vintage ones can get. What do you think of packaging dioramas? Well, I don't really know how to answer that question because I don't really know what a packaging diorama is, so I can't really answer the question. So, on to the next question. And what style of packaging do you like best? So I'm going to use this one to and like to tell you guys what the picture I have up is about. I kind of have an order my three most current favorites. And then my number one favorite is the original Revenge of the Sith packaging. I don't know why I like it so much. It looks really cool to me. Like I think it really does a really good job of capturing the feel of Revenge of the Sith because I grew up with that movie, so to me it was a big part of my childhood. So that also for personal. After I saw Revenge of the Sith, everything it's weird. For some reason, I kind of classify every Star Wars movie by a feeling. That's how I judge the packaging. Like, if it gives you the same vibe that the movie gave you. And personally, I think that the Revenge of the Sith packaging does a very good job of doing that. I love how they have like the lava on the background, because I love the Mustafar scenes. So personally, I just really like it. And the Saga collection packaging is my next favorite. Once again, I don't. That one I didn't really grow up as much with a kid. I don't think I was collecting at that point, but for some reason I just really like it. It looks really cool to me. And then my third favorite is 30th anniversary collection packaging. I don't know why I like it so much. To me, it kind of almost looks like some other cards, like the one I have up, which is Darth Vader. For some reason, it kind of looks like a tribute to Revenge of the Sith packaging to me. I know it's probably not, but to me, for some reason, it seems like that. And it just kind of gives me the same feeling that the original Revenge of the Sith packaging gave me. Oh, speaking of the Revenge of the Sith packaging, I can remember like one time I even like cut the bubble off and like took the Vader mask off the back and actually made my own like Darth Vader mask and was running around in that for a while and stuff like that. Also, my fourth favorite I think would be the vintage collection packaging. I know it's not. Most of you are probably confused why it's not my favorite. It just is I didn't really grow up with vintage figures. I can appreciate the packaging and everything. For me, yeah, I really like it and all. Like I think it's the best packaging in stores now. But if I had to compare it to ones of the past, I think some packaging has been better. Anyway, my fifth favorite, I guess, would just be the Clone Wars because I couldn't really think of anything, but I do like the Clone Wars packaging. I think it looks pretty cool. It kind of draws your eyes to it. It looks very new. It kind of looks like kind of describe what I mean by that. It looks very modern, very appealing to like nowadays. Or then those are really my top five favorites. The ones, obviously, there's a lot of other packaging. Like there's the original vintage ones, which obviously I would really category. I would rather, I would really store it in the same number as the vintage collection packaging because they're based off the same thing really. So I would kind of score them the same. And then like with the Power of the Force cards, I didn't put those on there because I really don't like those. It looks too comical to me. It looks like it's like Star Wars ripoff to me. Like, you're gonna find it in the dollar store, like with the cartoon drawn Vader on it and stuff. Just it doesn't look like actual Star Wars to me. To me, it looks like some cheap knockoff. I just don't like it at all. Power of the Jedi, I kind of think the same thing. It doesn't. Once again, I wish that they'd gone with like instead of just drawing Obi-Wan in the corner, I wish they'd done something like with the new packaging. They're having like a picture of Darth Maul. I think that's a lot better. Where it looks more realistic. And now I guess I'll kind of talk about the new packaging too, because it's gonna be new like next year, unless like somebody watches this video next year, and then it'll be the current packaging at that time. But no point in getting into that. Anyway, though, personally to me, the new packaging looks like it's gonna be really cool. It looks like really, like I said, it kind of gives me the same feeling that the Revenge of the Sith packaging gives me for some reason. I'm trying to think of what other packaging there's been. Original Trilogy Collection, I think I'd score that the same as Saga Collection because also that looks pretty similar to me. It pretty much looks the same to me for some reason, but I like both of them the same, really. And Legacy Collection packaging, again, I didn't really score that because it just, once again, it doesn't look very good to me. It doesn't look very appealing. It just, if I see Legacy Collection packaging, I don't ever plan to get any Legacy Collection figures in the card. It doesn't look good to me for some reason. I think that's really it that I can think of off the top of my head. Sorry if I missed any packaging. I probably have, but sorry about that then. Tried to cover all the ones I can think of. So I hope you enjoyed this video. So until next time, may the force be with you.